Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. I'm Rizwan Sultan. I'm welcoming you all in my channel Days to Perdays. I've got this gentleman here, our local councillor, Mr. Ed Carlisle, the man who defeated Labour after 40 years. So this seat, Mr. Ed Carlisle won. Nobody defeated any Labour councillor within 40 years. So got to give big hands up to this gentleman next to me, our local councillor. Okay, Mr. Ed, first of all, from me, a big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Winning this seat.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about yourself and your background of coming in politics.
So I grew up in different corners of the UK, north, east, south, west. I came to Leeds in the late 1990s to study. I fell in love with the city on day one and decided I wanted to commit my future to the city. And so 25 years later, I'm still here. For the last 20 years, I've lived down here in Beeston, down in South Leeds. And yeah, similarly, I've just really kind of fallen in love with the city and have really enjoyed just investing myself in the city and connecting with a wide range of people in this community. And for most of that time, I wasn't particularly involved in politics. I voted, I guess, when I remembered, but wasn't particularly engaged. I was involved in a lot of community action, helping with events and youth work and lots of environmental work. But I just reached a point a few years ago, back in 2014 or 15, where I think I was just getting really frustrated with the very poor state of local politics, the way in which our community was really dominated by one particular political party, in this case Labour. I think it's never good for any community where there is just domination by one party. I think there has to be opposition, there has to be dialogue, there has to be challenge. So at that time I then joined the Green Party, a smaller party.
What year was that?
So late 2014.
Late 2014, okay.
And then have been standing in the local elections most years since then, since 2015 onwards. And we've, it's just been a huge team effort. A lot of people have got involved. I'm very quick to say that this wasn't just my victory, this was our victory.
Yeah.
A huge number of people got involved with our community work and our campaigns over the last few years. And we slowly got closer and closer, and this year we broke through and win.
Okay, so my next question is, how many numbers Green Party's got right now in Leeds City Council? So
the Green Party remains small in Leeds. There are 99 councillors in the city. The city council is run by a Labour majority administration. And I think I am always quick to say that I don't think any political party has a monopoly on truth. I know some really good people in the Labour Party. I think they're working very, very, very hard. I think there's some great people there. It's not that I'm kind of dualistic about it. But at the same time, I do think that there's some people in Labour who I don't think are serving their communities. I think they have lost track of kind of why they're doing this and what they're about. And I said I'm passionate about offering a progressive alternative, a positive alternative for our cities, for our communities. I think Labour have dominated many of our communities for too long. So yes, there's three councillors, Green councillors in the city, so a small party. Across the country, across the UK, the Green Party are really surging. So pretty much every year we have more councillors. We've now got hundreds of councillors. Places like Sheffield and Bristol, we're growing fast. And all across Leeds, the Greens did really well. We came second in Gipton and Hare Hills, got 1,000 votes. Second in Beeston and Holbeck, the neighbouring ward to us. I won a ward called Hunslet, Riverside. Second in Roundhay, second in Kirkstall, second in Chapel Allerton. So we're doing really well in the city. We're now wanting to really accelerate. We're wanting lots more people to get involved. We're wanting to run active campaigns all across the city. And I think if we're lucky and if we work hard in the next few years, we could break through and we could really shift the political landscape of the city.
Okay, so tell us a bit about your party's manifesto. What makes you kind of rebel or unique compared to any other parties like Labour, you're saying, or Conservative or any other parties? So what's the difference in the manifestos?
First of all, it's worth saying that the Green Party is a left-wing party. We are closer to Labour than we are the Conservatives. We were formed about 40 years ago, very much initially as a political party, really focusing on the environment. Hence the name Green Party. That remains to this day. I would say that we, above all the parties, are committed to really kind of strong radical action on climate change, which we believe is a huge, grave threat. I also think it's an opportunity for us to rethink the way we run our economies and our communities, and actually really make things better. But I also think it's really important to say that we are not a party just about committed to environmental stuff. I think some of the things that attracted me to the party was a real commitment to, I think, quite bold action on social justice issues around migration, for example, around welfare stuff. So there's one particular policy, one of our, I suppose, trademark policies is something called universal basic income. I'd really recommend people just look online and do the research around universal basic income. It's arguably a way in which we could use welfare payments to really kind of shift, in a good way, shift our societies and economies away from basically away from destructive capitalism towards a more communitarian, a more creative, essentially a more free society. Anyway, a universal basic income is a huge kind of discussion all in itself, but that's some of the stuff. I think I really love the way that the Green Party is very, very decentralised in its decision making. So I'm really excited by the idea that actually I think the big parties, because they have been used to being in government, both local and national, for so long, I think that despite the good intentions of some of the people in the parties, by default the way of government is quite a dictatorial way of kind of doing things to communities. I'm really passionate about the way in which the Green Party nationally and also locally is very much committed to community collaboration, community empowerment, really trying to decentralise decision making into our communities as opposed to holding on to decision making for themselves. And I mean, that's some of it. I could go on at greater detail. I think the Green Party we're very kind of anti-militaristic. We are I would say we're very progressive on international social justice issues, wanting to fight the corner of, I would say, peoples around the world who are not getting the autonomy, not getting the power they should be. They are, colonised peoples, for example. There's more I could say, but we're a bold, progressive, and I think innovative political force.
The next question is, are you familiar with the 6 points agenda, the taxi drivers issues being highlighted in previous few months, as I've been covering it myself on my channel. So what do you think, is that going to be coming up future, or where we are? Or the Labour councillors' role been, in the meetings, have they been defending taxi drivers, or they just been silenced? This was raised by few taxi drivers, ask you a question because you were eyewitness. What's that role been?
I think the 6 points ruling, and it is only a proposal at the moment, is one of several policies that's being proposed to come through. I think there's a whole bundle that are broadly speaking, they are unjust and they're being pushed through. I think we need to just recognise that the Labour administration run the city. They are the ones ultimately that make, they're the ones that hold the power. I can't promise that we'll get a good result about the taxi drivers' legitimate battle for justice. But I suppose I'll do what I've always said I'll do, which is I'll fight the corner of the taxi drivers. I think they've been treated poorly. I think many of the Labour councillors have been kind of forced to be quiet on it, really, and just kind of forced to go along with their party position. But I think if we fight hard, we can try to get some good compromises.
Okay. Mr. Ed, my next question is there any big projects coming up for the people of South Leeds community, like where we are, like Beeston, Hunslet, stuff like that? Any big news? Yeah,
I mean, there's always a lot going on. I'm involved with a big community bike recycling project. So we take old bicycles and we fix them up and give them out to the community. So we've given out about 1,000 bikes in the last 2 years. I think one project I'd flag up is I'm talking to some great people around Beeston Hill in particular, and we're wanting to create some kind of very much community-led association, maybe a little bit like a residents' association, but actually I think it'll be a lot more than a residents' association, where we open up community forums for people to talk about important issues for the local community, but also, really importantly, local people will be working together on key community priority issues and making projects happen. So I'm talking to some local residents about kind of closing certain roads, like at one end, to make the community more livable, more walkable, creating safer spaces for our kids, also creating more community-led youth provision in the local community, and a whole load of other things that I don't yet know, because we will talk to the people, we will listen to the people, and then we'll work with the people to make the projects happen.
Okay. Well, Mr. Ed, we're not far away. Just a couple of questions. And let's move on to another world, meanings international wise.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the name of Imran Khan? Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Can I ask you who is it?
So he's the ex-Prime Minister of...
Well done.
Yeah,
so let's say...
I mean, he's also a cricketer.
Yeah, he's also a cricketer. So are you a
yeah, somewhat. I mean, so I used to watch it a lot when I was a teenager, not so much anymore.
Okay, so here goes another question attached with the same question.
Yeah.
Can you name me the current Prime Minister of Pakistan? No. So there we go. So this is your answer, people. So Imran Khan was famous and he is famous and he will be famous. That's just a randomly question jumped in my mind. Okay, so Mr. Ed, last question will be, are we going to see you as a parliamentarian?
I think the thing I always say is, if you want to get to Parliament, if you want to get to House of Parliament, you probably don't join a smaller party. I'm absolutely committed primarily to rebuilding good local politics here in South Leeds. My passion is South Leeds, and I have stood in the general elections in 2017 and 19 for Leeds Central, and I'm really keen to offer that positive alternative, a positive local alternative in those in the general elections, and I will probably continue to do so, to offer that alternative. I'm passionate about electoral reform, voting reform. I think to get a much better political discussion nationally in this country, we need voting reform, and we need to move to more to what we have in places like Scotland, or certainly places like Germany, a more federal, more multi-party approach. I think that would be good for all of us. I think we are so restricted by this domination of the big old parties. But I will continue to fight my corner. I will keep offering a credible, hands-on alternative here in South Leeds. I think continue to stand in the general elections as they come, and the people will decide, and who knows?
Right,
democracy. Who knows what the people will decide?
Yeah. So viewers, even though it was the very first time, I've had someone, who can't speak our language, so it was kind of, first attempt. So I don't know, I can't really tell how successful I was, I do programming in my own language. Yeah. Viewers, living in here, England, this is our home as well. So I've did my best, get Mr. Ed on my platform. So let's see what your feedback will be very important for us. We're about to finish this vlog, viewers. I'm very thankful to Mr. Ed today. He was busy doing some family things. Best of the luck, for his future. And we need a gentleman like Mr. Ed, who represent our community in a better way, with a better vision. That's all we should expect. Thank you very much, Mr. Ed. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise,
okay. See you around. Viewers, Rizwan Sultan saying goodbye to you all from my channel Days to Perdays. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.